far left wants unfettered immigration is to destroy the so-called white patriarchy. That's white male domination of power. The quickest way to damage that is to flood the USA with foreign nationals who may vote liberal down the line. In his current mental state, President Biden most likely does not understand the big picture, but dutifully does what he is told to do. All of this is a hideous charade. Back after this. You can now watch new episodes of the No Spin News live on Samsung TV Plus. Tune in each weeknight at 8 p.m. on the First TV for breaking news, honest analysis, and the best election coverage in America. Please join me, Bill O'Reilly, at the First TV, now available on Samsung TV Plus. Start watching today on your Samsung television, Galaxy devices, or the Samsung TV Plus mobile app. Check out the No Spin News each weeknight at 8 p.m. on the First TV, Samsung TV Plus. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, freedom fighters. Ken Williams, how you doing, baby?
Real good, Vic. You freedom fighter, you.
You are a freedom fighter. See, freedom lover is great. Good to be a freedom lover. But we're learning more and more every day. We need to be freedom fighters. And you know how we do that? At the ballot box.
Well, you fight for what you love. And if you're a freedom fighter, you're a freedom lover.
Wow. I should just go home. I should just go home. By the way, if you missed Ken's monologue the other day, when was that? Was that Monday?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Ken wasn't here on Friday. And we needed his, it was on the Trump decision, I think, on the Trump verdict. And I said, Ken, we need your thoughts on this. So I'll just turn off the mic and let you go. And then, the bastard steals the show. Now I got to leave.
And I appreciate you doing that, Vic.
Well, hey, man, you know how I feel about you. Karen Kataline's waiting for us, asking herself when are these guys going to come to me. KAMALA, LALA, because all of a sudden she's appeared. She's like the mystery VP.
Yeah.
She disappears for like weeks, and all of a sudden she shows up on Kimmel.
Yeah.
And she's the biggest idiot.
You ever see that whack-a-mole game?
Yes.
Okay. So if she was really confident and knew a lot about what was going on, she'd be out there in front all the time, right?
Yeah.
I have this theory. She's like, they put her out there like the whack-a-mole so you can't hit her. She'll put out some information, just enough for you to say, what? And then she leaves.
Even if you are on that side and you watch an interview with her, you got to be saying, ask her something serious. Ask her something important.
Right. Right.
Jimmy Kimmel is talking about pot that's named after her.
I know.
Nate Lucas at 10:05 today. We love talking to Nate. Porcelli's Deli today at 10:25. Ken, all about D-Day.
Yes, sir.
Which is what today is, June the 6th, 1944. And, there's not too much we can say that hasn't been said, but I think we have to say it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's it. All right. Pledge of Allegiance time. Who leads us today, Ken?
Yeah, Beck, it's Steve Stepanek, the New Hampshire Trump campaign chair.
Like that guy. Okay, Steve, go ahead.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Back at you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Steve. All right. Are we ready?
Oh, we are.
Let's do it.
The one and only Karen Kataline.
Did you know that I'm married to a trucker? I feel like using a Yiddish word, famished. Spoiling in front of my computer, I am. They're just too dumb to lie. He has the effect of 6 shots of scotch.
Okay. Hi, Karen Kataline. How are you, my friend?
I am doing well. How are both of you?
We are
Great.
well as well.
Yes.
I want to hear what Ken said about that. Where can I find that?
Oh, well, you could find, I should have said that probably. Thank you, Karen. Wherever podcasts are found, And you can also find it on our website. You can find it on our Facebook page, News Talk STL. It was such a great monologue that I knew he had in him. I mean, Donald Trump in this kangaroo court. He gets convicted. And by the way, that happened last week. You and I didn't get to talk about that.
Yeah.
So we'll do that in a second. So I said, you know what? And Ken had some kind of surgery on the day after the verdict came out. What terrible timing!
The day of, I had that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you were out the next day.
Yeah.
So I said, Ken's got to be able to vent about this. And it was just 12 minutes of absolute brilliance.
Oh, I can't wait
Thanks,
to hear
man. I
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. So what about that verdict? 34 guilty verdicts.
I'd love to tell you I was surprised, but I wasn't the least bit surprised. And I was thinking, what is most on my mind today with regard to the juxtaposition of what is going on right now?
Yeah.
And it occurred to me because now, as part of the entire campaign Disinformation Act and rebranding, re-narrativizing, that's a new word, with the Hunter Biden thing, it occurred to me that the whole purpose of this Hunter Biden thing is to reframe this case about a gun charge and about his poor drug problem, which is all sympathetic, and this is about Trump. I'm getting to it.
Yeah, I got you.
Instead of bribery, blackmail, betraying America with foreign entities who hate us. I think that's called treason, but I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer. Instead, make it about drugs. And so this is yet another political tactic. Let's change the narrative so that if anybody comes back later and says, oh, by the way, Hunter Biden was, all the stuff that he's done that we knew that they quashed in the news for years. And now they're saying, oh, see, it's moral equivalence. We're going after our own. It is so diabolical because they have to manufacture stuff with Trump,
right,
and they can't even get their facts or their stories or their charges straight. You've already adjudicated the whole thing, but this is the flip side of what happened last week. And notice it was timed perfectly right after Memorial Day. They do all this. Look at the timing of everything. And so on this D-Day, the 6th of June, for us to be talking about this with these brave men who fought for our liberty, and our liberty is being destroyed from within, I can't help but tell you, I'm heartbroken.
Yeah, I totally agree. And just as from a selfish point of view, my dad was part of the 787th Tank Battalion, drove a tank onto Omaha Beach. So I have it even more personal.
Yes. And thank you for your family's service. My dad hit the beach in Nagasaki right after the bomb was dropped.
Wow. You and I had both theaters covered,
ruins. Huh? Yeah.
We had the European theater and the Pacific theater covered with our family.
Yes.
So getting back to Hunter, isn't it funny, Karen, how the Democrats are gun control? We need background checks. Oh, wait, President's son didn't do the background. Oh, I'm sorry. All of a sudden, their narrative flips, right?
Yeah. And don't forget that even the opposition is really planned opposition. I was listening to the news before I came on about the ACLU getting all upset because of Joe Biden. You know what? That's planned too, because they want to show that he's a moderate and that even the ACLU is opposing him. If anybody believes this, then there's a Nigerian businessman who wants to give you $12 million.
That Nigerian prince always comes up, doesn't he? So here's the thing too, okay? The way half of this country railroaded Donald Trump, right, and is still doing it to this day. Leslie Stahl has Donald Trump on 60 Minutes, and he says, the laptop. And she says, sir, we can't verify, sir. Well, we can't verify that. And now they used it as evidence, and certainly verified at this Hunter Biden trial, right? And I have said from the beginning, okay, with the 51 intelligence officers who signed the letter, I said there's a dichotomy. It can't be either of, it has to be one of two things. They either all lied or we have the worst intelligence in the entire world. There's no other.
And sadly, we don't.
Right.
You
Right,
know?
right.
But there were no apologies either.
No, never, and there never will be.
Yeah, you know what? Don't these people, all of them? By the way, I don't agree that it's half the country. I think that's what they want you to think. It's funny how we choose to believe things, or because we're used to taking people at their word. It's not half the country. It is certain people and the people on the bandwagon. But it just occurred to me, you know, I feel like we're living not only in a alternate universe, but the alternate universe is like Emily Litella. Remember Emily Litella? It's like, oh, you know, by the way, we did suppress the Wuhan theory. Oops, never mind.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, we did lie about the Trump-Russia collusion. Oops, never mind.
Right.
Oh, by the way, we did lie about the Hunter Biden laptop. It was real. We said it, that people who said that were Russian informants, whatever. Never mind.
Since you brought it up, and since I am 12 years old, first of all, just to explain what Karen's talking about on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, sorry, I had
no,
to.
it's okay. It's okay. Chevy
old.
Chase was the anchor, and one of the correspondents was Emily Litella, which I'm just realizing now she was
love
Italian. I guess Litella sounds
Well,
like
of course she was.
Italian
I
name, right?
hear about Russian jewelry.
Well,
If Russians want to wear bracelets, that's up to them.
my favorite one is, what's all this about flea erections in Canada? No, it's free elections. Oh, never mind.
You know what? Maybe Joe Biden is channeling Emily Litella.
Well, at her
It's
worst
possible.
stage of dementia. So last thing about the
That reference was very, very good, Karen.
she's awesome.
Thank you.
Um,
I have this weird sensation we're going to hear that audio next week.
you bet.
Erectionists who stormed Capitol Hill, patriots.
Oh,
And there's also a member of the House. Her name is Pramila Jayapal,
Jayapal.
who seems to have a little crush on Donald Trump.
Let's talk about the fact that President Trump incited an erection.
I didn't hear that. Oh my God. Really? Did she really say that?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
you can tell what they're
my.
really thinking. Oh my! says
Well,
Karen Kataline.
then Trump can use the AOC thing. She has a crush on me.
Right,
She
exactly.
wants to date me.
Right,
Right.
exactly right. She can't get
See
him
how
off
we
her.
can squeeze humor out of the darkest places.
You have to. I mean, if you don't, you go
Jeez.
crazy. So, last thing about the Hunter Biden trial, half the jury are either drug addicts or family members of drug addicts. It's like the jurors that Trump wanted on his trial, he couldn't get firefighters, cops, people that really love him. And now all these people are on this jury are drug addict sympathizers.
Not only that, but I remember that, I mean, from the beginning to end, the Trump trial was a textbook in all the things they admonish you not to do. They didn't sequester the jury. They gave them a week off in between so, dark figures could come and threaten their animals. Whatever they had to do, they were off for an entire week. Why? So that they could announce the trial just exactly on a Thursday when everybody was paying attention after the Memorial Day. I mean, they have this junk down to a science. And you know what? It's not accidental that it's so in our faces. It's in our faces to let us know that justice is dead in this country. Equal justice. That just, we must all, I'm sounding so religious, and I'm not, say a prayer for this country on D-Day, the 6th of June, for what these brave men did for our country. And now we're watching the death of equal justice under the law.
Right. And just so everybody knows, Porcelli's Deli today at 10:25 is going to be all about D-Day, June the 6th, 1944. Okay, so you have you ever seen? Do you know the drug called Jardiance? It's a drug.
What does it do?
It lowers your A1C. It's kind of like Ozempic, but it's a different drug.
Oh, Ozempic. Yes.
But Jardiance, the
yes.
Jardiance
I have a lot of
commercials.
opinions about that. I bet you're shocked.
We don't have time for that
Yes.
right now, but we can certainly get into that next week.
No.
So the commercials for Jardiance, it's like a musical number. You know what I mean?
I saw it.
So you've seen that. So I said to myself, when are tickets going on sale for Jardiance the musical, right? Well, the day is here.
It's the tale of the little pill with the big story to tell. The Pfizer Broadway series presents by popular demand. For 3 nights only, it's Jardiance the musical. Coming this February 29th, 30th, and 31st to the fabulous Pfizer Theater. Starring that lady in the tan pants and that guy who didn't know that his copier needed to be plugged in to work. Don't miss your chance to see this blockbuster musical. Ask for your A1C discount. It's Jardiance the Musical. February 29th, 30th, and 31st at the fabulous Pfizer Theater.
We had to end it on the button, right? You got to end it on the button. Big story to tell.
The problem is that's not a satire. It's
Right.
not.
Right. And what's funny is there's 2 girls who have been in the lead, shall we say, on that commercial. The lady now with the tan pants and
the real chubby lady who gets a different dress.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no,
that's
the
first.
first.
Changes a dress.
Wait.
She's so happy. Yeah.
That's the first one. The current one right now is the lady with the tan pants that we refer to in the thing. And now the girl you're talking about that had to change. Her last name is Cologne. I can't think of her first name, but she was a contestant on America's Got Talent or something like that, or American Idol. And she wrote the song and everything. And then they fired her. You know why they fired her? Because she was a big fan of Roseanne Barr. So that's why we used her voice on that. So get your tickets for Jardiance the musical at the fabulous Pfizer Theater.
Well, and have you heard, I'm sure, the list of informed consent, all the things that can happen to you, the GI problems, the unbelievable upheaval in your GI tract.
How about death?
And how come Pfizer's okay with off-label drugs when it's an off-label drug that they're pushing for something that it wasn't designed for?
Right.
But ivermectin, which now is okay, was off-label and now has proven to work.
Yeah.
They didn't want any part of it. How transparent is all this?
Right. And just in full disclosure, Jardiance is not a Pfizer drug, but we know what Pfizer did with all the jabs. Ken calls the media the Pfizer legacy media. So that's why we put the fabulous Pfizer theater. Plus we have the fabulous
Rodgers.
Fox theater.
He calls that Kelsey guy Mr. Pfizer.
Mr. Pfizer. Exactly. All right, Karen. Always great to hear your voice every Thursday. We love you to death. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Great to talk to you. Mwah.
Hi, Karen.
Bye.
The one and only Karen Kataline. So we got to get our tickets for Jardiance.
I know. It's coming up at the end of the month.
February. Did you catch the dates? February 29th, 30th, and 31st.
Oh, okay.
None of those dates happen.
Right.
Unless it's a leap year. Okay. So D-Day today, as Karen mentioned so poignantly, June the 6th, 1944, D-Day. Just an amazing show of might and force from the Allied forces. And today's the anniversary, so we'll talk about 80th anniversary. We'll talk about that in Porcelli's Deli. Nate Lucas, of course, at 10:05. And boy, Leslie Stahl was trending last night on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because now they're using the laptop as evidence in the Hunter Biden case.
Huh, that's really weird.
Right. So
something that doesn't exist.
It's not verified, sir. We can't verify that. Coming up next, she's reared her ugly head and face. KAMALA, LALA. That's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, #1 for live and local conservative talk.
Stream the Vic Porcelli Show at NewstalkSTL. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
As President Lincoln said,
made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the News Talk STL app.
just a convenience on the phone.
And listen anytime, anywhere.
Stand and Fight with Nick Schroer.
Hey everyone, this is Nick Schroer from Stand and Fight. If you need tree removal, storm damage, repairs to trees, tree trimming, pruning, If your bushes are out of control, call River City Tree Service. Free quotes right now, 314-270-8071, 314-270-8071. Professional tree services performed by ISA certified arborists. Request your free quote at rivercitytreeservice.com.
Hey, Columbo here for the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Summertime in St. Louis means things like family gatherings, barbecues, and graduation parties, and Zero Res knows how important it is to have your home as clean and healthy as possible for your friends and family, so they're kicking off summer with an amazing offer. Book a cleaning in June and mention the Columbo special, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $50 off an air duct cleaning. Just mention the Columbo special when you call 314-474-2020 or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
To all our incredible supporters, we at the David Dorn Foundation say thank you. Your 5-star online reviews that you recently posted are beacons of encouragement on our mission to assist first responders. And a shout out to Steve Katraba, who reviewed us with these powerful words. The Dorn Foundation continues to fill a need in the public safety community and thereby to the public. Steve, your words are more than a review. They show the impact we're making for first responders. To read more strong reviews, Google the Dorn Foundation now.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton. What happens next?
Donald J. Trump has been convicted of 34 counts of falsified business records.
Happens right here.
This was a rigged decision right from day one.
This is a made-up case. This was a sham trial.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
Whoosh.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says. Like dumb, I'm smart, and I want respect.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
I want respect. Wait a minute. I was Fredo?
No,
I
no.
don't think so.
No.
Okay, listen, a couple of great events coming up. One of which I'd like to tell you about right now. It's called Saving America 2024, the economy and the courts. We did one of these with Dakota Wood and Senator Talent, and it was so, first of all, well attended, and second of all, so informative and scary. Remember how unprepared we are for war if that ever happens?
Yeah, I didn't even expect that. When we went to see this, we're standing in the back and they started talking, and they're so knowledgeable.
Oh, yeah.
You have to understand what they're saying, and they made it very clear for everybody, but it was scary.
It was very scary.
And I think this event's going to be really cool.
Exactly right. Joel Griffith from the Heritage Foundation will join us on the economy, and the great Zach Smith, also from the Heritage Foundation. He's the courts, the economy and the courts, June 25th at the St. Charles Funny Bone. It's free. No, we don't want to charge you to get in, but we'd like to know how many people are coming so we have enough chairs and stuff,
Yeah.
So just go to newstalkstl.com and reserve your seat for Saving America 2024, the economy and the courts with Joel Griffith and Zach Smith.
KAMALA, LALA, you've got nothing to say.
So I will say what I know we all say, and I will say over and over again. That's why we're here today, because we have the ability to see what can be, unburdened by what has been, and then to make the possible actually happen. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
KAMALA, LALA, you've got nothing to say. KAMALA, LALA, LALA, please go away.
The Democrats like to talk about us MAGA extremists, people
yeah.
like you and me, and how fractured the Republican Party is. I've never seen a party more fractured than the Democrats right now.
Absolutely.
45. No, okay. No, they're not all Democrats. 45, let's call them lawmakers, either congressmen or senators, bipartisanly are saying that Joe is shriveling up behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It takes 10 minutes just to start a meeting because it takes him that long to walk around the room and say hello to everybody. So it's not us.
I hope he makes it to the debate, man.
Yeah.
I just want to see one debate with him and Trump. Just one.
And it's so funny because now that this trial is over, and I'm not saying the gag order is lifted because I don't know, but Donald Trump is certainly allowed to go out and do.
It's not lifted, by the way. They're trying to get it to be lifted.
So he's doing what he wants anyway. That's why I love it. So he's doing interviews, and the difference when he talks, right, and when Biden talks, and you know what, Ken, we nailed something so good when Joe goes, wait, what's the word he uses?
Exponentially?
Nope. When we know he's lost. Look.
Oh yeah, look.
Right. So look. I don't know what I'm saying. So
no, it does. It's like he falls off the rails and he can't get back on. He's trying to climb up back on the rails, but he can't. And then he stops after stumbling and says, "Now look, okay."
Ken, look is how he's trying to get back on the rails.
Right.
Look.
Nah,
I shouldn't talk about that.
No, yeah.
They'll yell at me if I talk about that.
Oh, of course they will, because they always do.
But you watch Trump, and you know what I love about Trump is when he talks with his hands, he looks like you could substitute the dialogue of a fish he almost caught, right?
Yeah.
It was so big, but I got the little one, but I wanted to get the big one.
Right.
We should do that. Put some AI in him.
Maybe, yeah.
About fish. Okay, anyway. So let's say Joe Biden. This is great because the Democrats are so stuck. Let's say Joe Biden doesn't make it to the finish line here to be on the ballot in November. Then what? Are they going to run Kamala Harris?
They're at this point, they're getting real close to not having any other choice.
So here's what's great. Okay. They either have to run Kamala Harris, who we know is a terrible pick, or pick somebody else and just infuriate Kamala Harris.
Oh, that would.
Right?
Of course it would.
Either way, they're screwed.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Kamala, LALA time. Can Kamala explain to us how government works? Can she do that?
I think so.
Let's do it.
Well, in our history, look at the Dred Scott decision. This is not the first time that we know the court can make decisions that violate the civil rights of the people. But this is when we have to praise the fact that we still have an intact democracy with three co-equal branches of government. So what the Supreme Court took away, Congress can put back in place. And that's where the people come in with your right to then elect the people in the United States Congress who will fight and protect your freedom.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Well, okay.
What did Dred Scott have to do with that?
I don't know. That's what I was going to ask.
And Dred Scott, the Dred Scott decision, local angle happened right at the old courthouse on 4th Street, I guess that is, or Broadway. And she started to talk about the Dred Scott decision and then realized after she was into it, she had no idea about the Dred Scott decision because she didn't refer back to it at all.
No.
It was like she said Dred Scott and people, like younger people, what is that? What is Dred Scott? Right?
Right.
What did we talk about with Emily Latella?
Yeah.
You can't just go by that because young kids have no idea what Emily Latella is.
Right.
So same thing with Dred Scott. So she brings up the Dred Scott case, this decision, and then she never goes back to it because she doesn't know what the hell happened.
No, somebody said, "Hey, mention Dred Scott."
Yeah, right, Ken.
Because it's going to make you sound really smart and
Yes.
knowledgeable about talking about the government.
But I don't know anything about. That's okay. Just say it.
Just say it and then move on. Don't say anything else.
All right.
Kamala me?
Oh, did I not say that the first time?
No, but you should.
Okay, get off my back. So she's disappeared, right? She's invisible for weeks. Then she pops up on a show that Ken lovingly calls the Scumbag Kimmel Show. Ken, Kamala me.
The reality is, let's just fast forward to, again, November. I think the American people want to know that there is a president who believes they are accountable to the people.
And who's allowed to travel overseas?
And,
he's so funny.
And also a president who the people can count on, right? In all seriousness, who the people can count on.
Oh, sure.
Of course.
So a president that the people can count on. I would rather count on a president who is going to bring the grocery prices down, who's going to bring the gas prices down, right?
Close the border.
And
not lie about it and say that Trump did it.
What does she mean by that? What has Joe Biden done for us?
Nothing.
Except screw everything up and take away our gas stoves. And I saw something yesterday. When it gets hot, they're going to say, hey, limit your use of air conditioning so you don't overpower the electric grid. At the same time, they're telling us to drive electric cars.
And only like 3% of the population is driving electric. Can you imagine 96% or more were driving them?
Yeah. So it's an honor, Ken, when there is a strain of pot that's named after you, I guess. And Jimmy Kimmel brought that up. Ken, KAMALA me.
Are you aware that there is a strain of cannabis named after you, Kamala Kush? Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously, for
I
real.
did not know that.
You didn't know it? They didn't even send you any?
No.
Oh, that's outrageous. You'd think you would get...
I'm not
You think you would get something.
He's such a piece of human.
He is, and so is she, because what are the people who are in prison because of Kamala Harris, because of pot use, watching that in prison, thinking with her laughing about a strain of pot named after her.
When you hear her excitement about being named after something like that, and then laughing I mean, it was outrageous the way she was performing in front of the audience.
Yeah.
She was a DA in San Francisco and put in jail thousands of people for smoking pot.
Right. And she laughs about it, Ken. She's mocking them, you know? Okay. Want to do one more? Yeah. Okay. So, it's so funny. And here, boy, they're stuck again. If Donald Trump is elected president again, we'll never see another election, right? He won't leave.
He's a dictator.
It's going to be a threat to our democracy. He'll be a dictator. Now, what's going to happen when he's elected and none of those things are true? What are they going to say?
Well, I think they're throwing it all against the wall right now. They have nowhere else to go, and this is the final push.
So if he gets elected and he's not all those things, what are they going to say?
No, I agree with you.
Right?
I don't think they have a choice, though.
Well, let's see. Let's find out what's going to happen to the country, according to Kamala Harris. Ken, KAMALA me.
You know, Donald Trump once asked Black Americans, I'm going to quote, excuse the language, what the hell do you have to lose from a Trump presidency? And sadly, we all know too well. When he was president, Donald Trump tried over and over to get rid of the Affordable Care Act and to take health care then from millions of Black Americans. Year after year, he proposed cuts to Social Security and Medicare so that so many of our seniors would be deprived on what they rely on to live with dignity. And then he handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court, the court of Thurgood, with the intention that they would overturn Roe v. Wade, and as he intended, they did. And today, 1 in 3 women and more than half of Black women of reproductive age live in a state with an abortion ban, a Trump abortion ban.
So Donald Trump.
And if he wins a second
I guess if he wins a second again.
term, I promise you he's going to go even further.
Promise. She promises.
He's going to go even further.
So again, maybe somebody should sit Kamala down and say, you know why Planned Parenthood was started, Kamala? By Margaret Sanger, in her words, to eliminate the Negro population.
The human weeds.
That's who you're talking about.
In her opinion.
Right?
Yeah.
And so he wanted to take away health benefits from from Obamacare. But you know what he did? He got them jobs where they could maybe get a job with health benefits and not have to worry about having Obamacare.
Exactly right.
Because if you like your doctor, you can keep them.
That's exactly right.
KAMALA, la la, you've got nothing to say. KAMALA, la 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 la, please go away.
All right, let's talk to Ray. Ray, good morning. We got about a minute. Make it count, baby.
Well, first of all, I think she stopped on the Dred Scott thing because she remembered Lincoln railing on that, as he didn't use the term activist judges in one of his speeches, but saying that it was not the original intent of the Constitution. That's the first thing. And then if she does believe in three equal points of government or branches of government, why are they ignoring the SCOTUS ruling on forgiving student loans and just doing it by executive order and not through Congress.
Right. So that third branch of government wasn't that important to Kamala when it came to that. Right? She's such an idiot. All right, Ray, great to hear from you, baby. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay. So Donald Trump was on trial. By the way, maybe we can have some fun with Fanny today because it looks like that Georgia thing.
Ooh, that'd be good.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll do that next time. But we'll start with Donald Trump, who was on trial, and now Hunter Biden is on trial, and that laptop is being used as evidence, clearly verifiable that it was a real thing. And if you remember, somebody told Trump, we can't verify that.
Weird how?
You know, weird. You're weird. I'm not weird. You're weird. That's all next on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
We need to evolve our institutions and drive creative new partnerships. Let me be clear. Certain principles of our international system are sacrosanct.
On News Talk STL.
On the next
Larry Connors, USA.
The Hunter Biden gun trial continues, but is the mainstream media paying attention? The answer, no.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Hello, Tim Jones here with Eric from Newsteaders Fine Jewelers. Eric, your diamonds are so fantastic at Newsteaders. You named the website after them, wowdiamonds.com. Tell us about Wow Diamonds.
Well, we picked that name because when people look at the diamonds, they all exclaim the same thing. Everybody says, wow. And nobody can spell Newsteaders, so we figured Wow Diamonds would definitely be good tagline, and it's very accurate. We actually introduced the lab-grown diamond to our St. Louis family, and we're the exclusive home of the trademarked Wow Diamond. It's the most perfectly cut and polished diamond you'll ever experience, and we can fit one into anyone's budget. The thing that's nice about them is they're significantly less expensive than a mined diamond, and of course the artwork is in the cutting and polishing. That's where you get the beauty in the diamond, and that's what we excel at.
Newsteaders, a St. Louis jewelry tradition since 1961. Stop by and find out why. 2961 Daughtery Ferry Road, or on the internet, wowdiamonds.com for Newsteaders Fine Jewelers.
Columbo and Katie.
When asked what he'd say to voters that are worried about his age, Joe Biden said, watch me. It's always, I tell them, just watch me.
We've been watching.
Yeah, we've been watching. It's bad, buddy.
We've been watching.
You got it.
Stumbling.
Yeah, you got it.
Falling upstairs.
They put the kids' steps out. They put the kiddie steps out for you on Air Force One, bro.
We got the non-slick shoes going on. I'm watching.
It's not good.
Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Mike Ferguson here. Join me on Monday, June 17th at the Jefferson County Republican Club Conservative Showcase. I get to MC the thing. We're going to feature GOP candidates running for state representative and state Senate seats in Jefferson County's districts. It's a great opportunity for you to meet the candidates and hear from them on how they're going to make Jefferson County and Missouri a better place. It all starts at 7 o'clock, and it will take place at the Hillsborough Community Civic Club. To learn more, go to jeffcogopclub.com. That's jeffcogopclub.com.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
I'm going to grab a bite to eat. You want like a sandwich or something?
What kind of sandwich ain't too fattening?
I have the sandwich.
You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show on News Talk STL.
All right. Two great big events happening this month. One of them is the Saving America that we talked about earlier. And our second one is going to be the debate party. And boy, let me tell you, we need to come up with some kind of bingo card, okay? Or some kind of fun thing we can do while we're watching this on things that you know that Biden will say, right? And one of them has to be look.
Look.
When he gets lost and says, look. It's a debate watching.
Is it not kidding also? Not kidding?
Not a joke.
Oh, not a joke. I always get that
Ken, it's okay. Everybody gets that wrong. It's not no joke. It's not. He sometimes says not a lie, but he always says not a joke.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do a Biden, say not a joke. Tim Jones and Chris Harps will be broadcasting live from Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge. That's 4 to 6 o'clock. Our watching party starts at 7, and you don't want to miss the historic event happening at 8 o'clock that night, the debate between Donald Trump and rotting bag of oatmeal, as Bongino calls him, Joe Biden. It's all brought to you by the Freedom Principle, Missouri, and St. Louis Young Republicans. Okay, Ken, something very, very important here, because somewhere down the road, I would like that time to be right now. The media needs to be held accountable for things that they get wrong, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not stomping on the First Amendment, okay?
Right.
I'm not doing that. But what I'm saying is, when they say things that is just not true, they need to get on TV, on the camera, and say, hey, I made a mistake. And they never do that.
No.
Why? Why?
Well, because they have marching orders. I think some of them, I think they have it's ideological. I think most of it is.
Then don't run the little promos on how trusted they are and all that.
Well, they have to do that to make you think they are.
Right, exactly right.
I mean,
So
this is all propaganda at this point.
So Hunter Biden is on trial in his own backyard of Wilmington, Delaware. And the laptop, Ken, is being used as evidence in the trial.
That's amazing.
They went out of their way to say, yep, this laptop is verified. It's yours. You dropped it off at that guy's place. You never went back to get it. And there's a bunch of incriminating stuff on there. And it's all verified.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Okay. So let's go back to whenever it was when Donald Trump was on 60 Minutes with Leslie Stahl. And first of all, he brings up, Leslie, they spied on my campaign. Sir, there's no proof of that. We found that there is proof of that. Were you going to say something? No. I thought you were going to say something.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that she was during this whole interview with Trump, she was so dismissive, and he's the president of the United States. Okay, first of all, and she was so dismissive of him, like you're just a liar, pal.
And that's a great point, because yes, he was president of the United States, but devil's advocate, let's say he wasn't. It's just because he's Donald Trump, and according to them, nothing he ever says is true.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't president.
Totally
but you're right.
agree.
A little bit of respect for the president of the United States.
Sir, that's just not true. That's not verifiable.
So then they talked about how the Biden campaign spied on his campaign, and she wouldn't say that happened. Then the laptop came up, not by him, by the way. She brought up the laptop.
Right.
Right. And this is how that conversation went.
This story about Hunter and his laptop. Some repair shop found it. The source is Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani.
I don't know anything about that. I just know it's a laptop and they happened.
And you're making this one of the hottest, most important issues in your rallies.
It's a very important issue to find out whether or not a man's corrupt who's running for president, who's accepted money from China and from Ukraine and from Russia.
All these
I think
things
that's
have
an
been
important issue.
investigated and
That's the most important thing. All of these things have been investigated and dismissed as not true. That's what Leslie Stahl said on 60 Minutes. Sir, this is 60 Minutes. And she was wrong, Ken.
Yeah, and she's telling Donald Trump, this is 60 Minutes, the most highly esteemed,
trusted
television show on record. And then this. And this is horrible because, first of all, that laptop, it includes everything.
Oh, yeah.
It does. This is not about Hunter Biden. This is about the connection between Hunter Biden and Joe Biden.
The big guy, all those emails.
Yes, and their business connections, the Chinese money. We're finding out now that it could be as high as $30 to $40 million that the Biden family has received by China alone.
And by the way, there's plenty of incriminating stuff against Hunter Biden on there too.
Oh yeah, that's on there as well.
So there was testimony yesterday by his ex-girlfriend. He's got an ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, current wife, mother, all in the courtroom at the same time.
Yeah.
And Jill Biden, who's not there today, I hope he's going to be okay without mommy there.
I don't know. He's 54 years old.
She's in France because Joe Biden's in France for the D-Day observances. What happened before she got there is what I want to know. How did Joe walk around and know where to go before she got there? Well, she's there now, but she can't be there in Wilmington for Hunter. I don't know how he's going to do if mommy's not going to be there. But there was testimony yesterday that said that he, at one point, did crack every 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes.
That wasn't that his ex-wife that said that?
Ex-girlfriend.
Oh, ex-girlfriend said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, every 20 minutes. That's not addicted.
Now, the ex-wife said, before I ever got in the car, I had to check for drugs if I was going to be in there with the kids in the car, because he would leave pipes around. He'd leave crack things around. It's so, and what's funny is the prosecution is using what the defense is trying to use, that he was an addict. Poor guy didn't know what he was doing. He was an addict. And that's only helping the prosecutor's case, not the defense, that he was an addict.
Yeah, I'm still a little confused on the direction that the defense is trying to go, because on one hand they're saying, oh, he never did this before. It was a temporary thing. And then they say, this poor guy, he was going through all this stuff. Okay, make up your mind. First of all, realize one thing. He's a 54-year-old man. He's not a kid. Someone actually on the news on cable said he's just a young guy, and the father loves his son and is trying to help. No, he's a 54-year-old man. And you know the part that really pissed me off? I'm going to tell you right now. This guy had drug paraphernalia, like you said, in his car, and he knew that his kids were going to be driving that car at this point. And the mother of the girls, I guess, had to go in the car routinely to check and make sure there was no paraphernalia there, because he didn't check it. He didn't care whether they would get pulled over or not with paraphernalia. Because I guarantee you, if his children got pulled over with that stuff in it, they'd go to jail. Yep. And he didn't care.
Nope.
He did not care a bit.
So, two completely different trials, right? Trump wanted to move the trial somewhere where he can get a fairer trial. They didn't let him do that. Hunter Biden gets to get tried in his home state of Wilmington, Delaware, where everybody knows. It's like Mayberry.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody, So, but I want to get back to the laptop, because Leslie Stahl was so positive that they investigated and dismissed it, Ken.
Yeah.
That laptop was Russian disinformation.
Those 51 guys
who will never be held accountable.
Experts.
Intelligence experts.
Right.
I'm telling you, the dichotomy is clear. Only one of two things is possible. They all lied, or we have the worst intelligence in the world and we need to fix it, right?
Yeah, it can't be anything else.
Because what else did they miss? What else did those 51 intelligence guys miss throughout the years that Russia did, or China, or anybody else?
Well, I think Karen was right when we brought that up to her. They're smart. They're not the dumbest group of spies in the world. They're really not. They know exactly what they're doing, and that's the problem that I have, is what they're doing. They're all in cahoots together.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They really are. They're all in cahoots together, and so how can we defend against, say, for example, Crossfire Hurricane, which Barack Obama started when Trump went down the escalator? He actually invaded his privacy. He actually monitored Donald Trump in the Trump Tower. He did it. They even had a name for it, Crossfire Hurricane, and we didn't know anything about it until it was forced out, because apparently people found out about it.
So the other side of the dichotomy is the only other answer, Ken. They all lied.
They all lied.
So it's not even like they guessed. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they said, I wonder, is that laptop stuff real? I'm gonna say Russian disinformation. You don't just, knee jerk it like that, right? You investigate, you see what's what.
Exactly right. And three other people actually that I think should have went to jail, and they're not. They're free. In fact, they're so free that they're actually commentators on other news. I saw them on MSNBC. Andrew McCabe,
oh God,
Peter Strzok, Lisa Page.
Yeah.
These three people should be in jail right now.
Yeah.
They caused so much what do you call it? Well, they should be in there for treason.
Yeah.
Because of all the things they did.
Can I add a couple of people to that list?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Comey.
Yes.
Brennan.
Yep.
And Clapper.
All of them.
All three lied to Congress. Oh, so did Fauci. It's amazing how perjury is just not a thing anymore. It's just crazy.
I just remember there was a time, Vic, where, I mean, we would get all excited about these hearings because, and this goes to my next point, because we'd see the hearing and we know that if you lie, you're going to jail.
Perjury,
yeah. It was a thing. But now you got Hunter Biden not even showing up, and when he does show up, he's I'm not going in there.
Right. Peter Navarro doesn't show up; he goes to jail.
He goes to jail. So then my next thing about that is those hearings and the Republican Party. They're an embarrassment. There's nothing going on right now. You got a certain few people that are trying to push, and I get it. Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You do have people that are pushing. But you have a bunch of them that are seemingly pushing, but they're not.
And why? Why would you act like that? It's the same problem we have here in Missouri. You got people who are running as Republicans. They're clearly not. They're clearly rhinos, I guess we have to call them. Right? You know, I don't like rhino. It doesn't sound serious enough.
No, it doesn't.
You know, traitors maybe is a better idea. But it's the same mindset. I want to try to make everybody happy. Well, guess what? You can't. You can't be in politics and make everybody happy. You can't.
No. But I think that the bottom line on every issue that we ever talk about politics, and whether it's state legislature, federal, or no matter what, follow the money. If you follow the money, you're going to find out the reason why these people are doing what they're doing.
And you can follow the money right in the Biden family themselves.
Yeah.
10% for the big guy.
There's dark money. There's under the table money. I mean, there's so many different lobbyists. I mean, you can follow money everywhere. And if you follow the money and just make a graph on the wall, put the names up, follow the money, and then connect the dots. And you've got the answer right there.
Some of the things that may come out in this Hunter Biden trial may actually implicate Joe and Jim. Is that his name? His brother's
Yeah, Jim Biden. It's actually starting to happen now.
Right?
Yeah.
And so maybe at some point we'll see a trial for Joe and Jim, you know, and the Biden crime family.
But you know what? That's the thing. Trump becomes president, and if he has his Department of Justice for good reason taking them and investigating, then they're going to get nailed for it.
Right. And they're going to call them weaponizing. They're going to call them everything that they're doing now.
Right.
Ed's toy is what we call it.
Exactly right.
All right. That's that. Good talk, Kenny. Good talk. Good thoughts. Stop having so many good thoughts, okay?
Okay.
Because you make me look stupid.
They're your thoughts too, Vic.
Porcelli's Deli about D-Day today. That's 10:25. Coming up next, Nate Lucas. So I just saw walk by the window. That means he's here.
And we've never met him in person.
I
haven't.
Nate's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, #1 for live and local conservative talk.
Whoosh. When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 101.9. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jeremy House. World War II veterans joined heads of state and others for poignant ceremonies on the beaches of Normandy to mark the 80th anniversary of D-Day. President Biden says this is a day not only to remember those U.S. soldiers who participated in the invasion, but to those who supported them back home.
Millions back home did their part as well. From coast to coast, Americans found countless ways to pitch in. They understood our democracy is only as strong as all of us make it together.
In addition to Mr. Biden, French President Emmanuel Macron and other leaders paid their respects to the dead and living in moving tributes. Hunter Biden's criminal trial has resumed this morning. Jurors getting a look at the .38 caliber Colt revolver he bought back in October 2018. Federal prosecutors have argued the younger Biden was in the throes of a heavy crack addiction when he bought the gun. They've accused him of lying on the form. A new Georgia poll shows Donald Trump leading President Biden by 5 points.
49% of respondents to a Quinnipiac University poll say they would vote for former President Trump in a hypothetical head-to-head matchup, while 44% say they would vote for Biden. Independent voters are evenly split, 45% each for Biden and Trump. Trump gains an additional point over Biden in a hypothetical 6-candidate race. Bob Agnew reporting.
Boeing space capsule has sprung more helium leaks as it closes in on the International Space Station. Boeing and NASA continued to press ahead for a docking with the space station. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 26 points at 38,833. The NASDAQ, meanwhile, is off 21 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
We'll round out the work week with some dry weather today and tomorrow before rain arrives on Saturday. So it's mostly sunny today, a weak cold front breezing through, knocking humidity down. Northwest winds will blow between 10 and 20 miles per hour. Evening plans look great. We'll drop through the 70s. The overnight low tonight, 61. Very little change on Friday, but yes, rain and storms move in Saturday morning. Could see another batch move through later Saturday as well. But Sunday looks dry. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
All right, welcome back. 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. That is Ken Williams. Today's the 80th anniversary of D-Day. You know, there are milestone anniversaries, Ken. With the 80th, the next milestone would be 85, I guess. And most, if not all, these World War II vets aren't going to be here anymore.
No, I was watching it this morning on the Today Show, by the way. And they were talking about the guys, and they were showing them. They're all like 96 through 102. You know,
Martha McCallum had a conversation with a 104-year-old guy who is cognitively miles ahead of Joe Biden. The guy's 104 years old.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about D-Day on Porcelli's Deli. That's at 10:25. Right now, though, some special baseball music. Look who walked in the door. Holy cow. It's Nate Lucas. How are you?
Guys, it is an honor to be in your presence here at News Talk STL in these beautiful studios. I mean, wow.
Look at these.
And I've never met you in person.
Never.
So crazy. And I've talked to you more than Vic has probably in the time we've been here anyway.
I am impressed.
And I've had 2 different in-person events with Nate. He was a what we called a remote tech, right?
Remote engineer.
Sorry,
yeah,
remote
please.
engineer. Excuse
Fluff
me.
it up.
Okay.
Come on now. Come on.
And we did a couple of remotes together, broadcasts. And when I went down to Springfield to do a couple of days down there, you were in the building.
That's right. I had forgotten about the Springfield tour.
Yeah.
But I still remember being out in Washington, Missouri, and getting those pies. Remember those things?
At Cowan's. Mile High Meringue Pie.
Yeah.
Wow, were they good?
And we also did another one at a remote at a department store out like Lake St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
Something with a V.
Vicks?
I don't even
Was
know.
it Vicks?
I don't. Yeah, Vicks. I think it was
Vicks.
Vicks.
Yeah, Vic's on the lake.
All right.
So I thought I'd intrude you guys today. I kept teasing that I was going to come in studio, and
Well, what did I say in the text? How did I reply?
I can't say it verbatim. I would say there was a lot of enthusiasm and then a yeah.
Yeah.
It was like F?
Yeah.
Yeah.
F yes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because I don't curse. I don't like. I don't
know
like.
you
I don't
don't.
like.
Well, as
curse
a good
words.
Italian man, you
Right.
know, you keep it clean over
I keep
there.
it clean over here. All right. So, son of a gun, Caitlin Clark suddenly has become what we call here playing the hits, right? Because you're a sports guy. I mean, really, at the bottom of it all, you are a sports guy. And Caitlin Clark obviously is a sports story, but now it's become a racial division story, right?
It really has. It's bizarre because Caitlin Clark is the reason why the WNBA is even getting any attention whatsoever. Now, what's strange is that the people, I guess, who feel like they've covered the WNBA for a long time and players who maybe feel like they've built the brand. Mind you, the brand has never made a profit in 30 plus years of existing.
Yeah.
So here they have a grand opportunity. We're kind of in a lull on the sports calendar, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got baseball. The NBA Finals is going to be over within a week. You got the NHL Stanley Cup is going to be over in a week. No college football, no college basketball. It's kind of an open spot. Baseball's drowning in its own blood, as I like to say.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So there's an open period here, and the WNBA is garnering some attraction, and they are doing their best to take that opportunity and just completely squat on it. It's really embarrassing for the WNBA.
They were handed a gift.
I know.
You know, Caitlin Clark was a gift.
What's the old saying? This is why you can't hand, a 16-year-old a Lamborghini, I suppose.
Yeah.
But they're crashing it, and it's a really bad look. And for them to then bring the race element into it, I give Caitlin Clark a ton of credit because she has been her humility throughout everything. The day she announced that she was going into the WNBA, she took arrows from every corner, and she's just gone about her business. I see her signing autographs for kids, even in the cities that, aren't her hometown.
Always.
You got Angel Reese, who's just I can't believe the things that she's saying. She's new, like Caitlin Clark. Vic explained it to me. I thought she was a little bit.
Well, you were thinking about Kennedy. Kennedy.
I was actually I was.
We
I
call her
found out
Kennedy
later.
because it probably pisses her off.
But Angel Reese, she, instead of embracing it and everybody winning, she's taking it like, well, no, I'm one of the people that are bringing people out here. Well, if you have to say it, then it's probably not true.
Yeah.
Who talks like that?
Right.
I mean, honest to God, who honestly says it's not just about her, it's about me?
Right.
And look, I know this is going to offend some people, but I do think one of the differences in our biology is that men don't carry the same vitriol towards each other as women do. And I think it goes well beyond sports.
Yeah.
I think women just kind of carry some vengeance against one another as it is. And I think we're seeing it on full display. But these ladies have been treated now to charter flights They know that probably a new television contract is coming their way, which is going to put more money in their back pocket. And instead of gravitating towards that, thinking like this is great for the brand, they're so narcissistic they can't get out of their own way. And they're like, it's all about me. It's not about her.
Exactly.
And yet it's all about her.
Exactly right.
Whether they like it or not.
And I hate to say that, but that's the truth. And it's not like she hasn't performed. You know, she's become one of only 2 players in the WNBA who's had like 150 points and 50 assists, and because she's not just a shooter, she's an amazing passer, right?
Yeah.
You know what I learned this week, Nate? I didn't realize that the WNBA originally was funded by the NBA. And so they've been giving gifts left and right, and they don't know how to take advantage of that situation.
It's almost like a big charity in a lot of ways. I mean, the NBA still funds the WNBA. Again, it hasn't turned a profit in its entire existence, but it's gaining momentum, and yet they're doing everything they can to say, thank you for the gift. We don't want it. I also thought about this in the last 48 hours. I truly believe that Caitlin Clark brings a fan base like us. Well, I got news for you. The Kennedy Carters of the world and the Angel Reeses of the world and the angry women who scream at you on television, they don't like us.
I know.
And so I think almost in the same way that Donald Trump says, I'm trying to protect you, that's why they're coming after me. I see a lot of it in the similarity with Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
They don't like us, and so they go after her.
Exactly right. And I can't believe, Nate, that this has become now a left-right issue.
I know.
I mean, when I scroll down Facebook, because when I scroll down Facebook, I know who the liberals are. I know who the conservatives are, and all the liberals are like, Caitlin Clark's overrated, blah, blah, blah. And all the conservatives are like, these girls are making it a racial issue because somebody said, I can't remember who it was, said that Caitlin Clark is getting all this attention because she's white, she's straight, and she's pretty.
Had nothing to do with the fact that she set records at the NCAA level, the fact that she sold out barns, the fact that the average ticket price for a game at an Iowa Hawkeyes women's game skyrocketed, highest price ticket ever. The fact that she had upwards of probably $10 million in NIL deals.
Mm-hmm.
And it all goes back to me. She's been an ambassador for the sport.
She has.
And that is what should be celebrated. I mean, when you see her after either a win or a loss, and she goes and meets with a group of 35 kids instead of darting right back to her dressing room, that's it, man.
Yeah,
you know, we are all at one point, we were kids, right? There was an instant, maybe multiple, where you were given access, maybe an autograph or a ball, and you had an interaction with a player, and that made you a fan for life.
Yes.
And she's doing that.
Absolutely.
You know what doesn't make you a fan for life? When you see an attack on a dead ball inbound pass and she gets blown over. That's like, what is this?
When I was a kid, when I was young, I wanted to be Mickey Mantle,
Well, you still can be. I mean,
yeah. But
look at you.
Yeah, look at me. But now little girls want to be Caitlin Clark. And that puts her in a higher echelon. I don't hear little girls say, I want to be like Angel Reese. I want to be like Kennedy Carter.
But they would do that if they acted like they were a part of a team,
right?
A group.
And,
hey,
but they're not.
But they're not.
Okay.
Right. And Vic and Nate, we've got a good friend of ours on the phone. He wants to give the black perspective with Caitlin Clark.
Who is it?
Chris Harps.
Oh, my man. How are you?
Gentlemen, how are you?
We are well.
I had to call in with Nate. Now, this perspective that I'm giving it from the African-American point of view. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with this. I also don't condone what has been happening to Caitlin Clark, the hard fouls and everything. It's completely wrong. But I'm going to give you the perspective from an African-American point of view. Our community is looking at this. The Caitlin Clark situation is not anything that is new. It goes back to really boxing. From the early centuries when I think Jack Johnson became the heavyweight champion of the world. And you had a succession after that of black boxers that were the heavyweight champions. And you saw a phenomenon that whenever there was a white champion, remember they would say the great white hope, there would be this pull that's this appearance that this is the white person. We want them to beat this black person, blah, blah, blah. And I give you an example of that. You guys remember when Larry Holmes boxed Jerry Cooney?
Yes.
For the heavyweight championship?
Yes.
That Jerry Cooney was the great white hope. All of the celebrities, everybody was behind him. You know, the champion of the world is usually announced last.
Always.
When it comes to a championship fight. Jerry Cooney was announced last at that fight. And I think what you're seeing of a lot of African Americans, like I said, I don't condone this completely, but I think what they're seeing with Caitlin Clark is they're seeing, and she is good, no doubt about it. She has done tremendous things for the league. I think a lot of these players are seeing that, okay, this is a black league, it's a black player, this is their great white hope, and that's why they're putting all of this hype and everything on her. As I said, not saying I agree with that, but I think that is the perspective. They're looking at her as the great white hope in coming into the black league, similar as it was in boxing back in the day.
I can't argue that. What I would say though is when Tiger Woods broke into the golf world, which I would say was probably a predominantly white
Absolutely.
sport.
Black people weren't even allowed at Augusta.
I didn't sense this vitriol going towards Tiger Woods. I mean, I think he was welcomed.
I think the perspective is white people have controlled golf and have been in control. So if here's a black person that's a minority that is making a run in golf and doing well, I think they have the right perspective. Is, hey, this can expand the game. This brings even more revenue to the game. I think they have the right perspective on it. And I think like I said, I think white people were the dominant culture, are the dominant culture, and I don't think there would be that same type of feeling, as African Americans have.
Chris, I want to say that, but
Sure.
the NBA is not doing what golf did, right? Here comes Tiger Woods, and they embraced him, and look at what's happened to golf. My God, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the WNBA somehow is not doing that with Caitlin Clark.
And I'm going to be sexist here, and you guys touched upon it. Hey, it's also a woman thing. Women are catty as well, and we see that in school when girls bully each other. So I think you got to add that feminine aspect to the racial aspect to it as well.
Yeah, I've got 5 sisters, so I agree with you.
Chris, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for guys. Give me a second. Appreciate it.
You got it.
See you, Chris.
And just for the record, I was for Larry Holmes and that Cooney fight all the way. You know what I mean? I love boxing in the 70s. Okay, I'm biased. It was my era. It was, to me, the golden era of boxing, right? You got Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, Ken Norton, George Foreman, Well,
I got to tell you, I mean, I prefer the 60s because I was just a little boy in the 60s. So I prefer the 60s over the 70s.
Yeah, he's making fun of me.
He's
making fun of me because
when
I'm
you were
old.
born in 1990, it's hard to really, history didn't happen before I was alive.
A lot of kids think that. I got news for you.
It's kind of sad.
One thing good about Caitlin Clark, real quick, is that her being as above board as she is, and in being so, I don't know, she's just a team player. She said when they asked her about all this stuff, she didn't go into racism. She didn't go into anything. All she said was, basketball's a tough sport.
Exactly.
And I got to pick it up.
Exactly.
She's making it easy for them to get their arms around her.
She needs some teammates. How about that? I think that's something we can all. Wait, can we bring? I think somebody had a great point. They said Dennis Rodman should turn trans. And then the
Which he almost did.
He could. I mean, you never know. You put a wedding dress on, I think. And so you bring Dennis Rodman on. Wouldn't that sell tickets? I mean, if you brought, let's see, what would we call Dennis? Denise Rodman.
Yeah.
Bring her on.
That's so
and
funny.
She's now the Fever's enforcer.
All right. So
there you go, man.
there's also a picture of Caitlin Clark going through the internet. Now, it sucks, the era that we're in right now. When you look at a picture, you just don't know if it's real or not real. But there's a picture of Caitlin Clark with bruises all over her because of what's happening. The rough hits and the dirty hits. I mean, some of them just been plain out dirty hits, And what Ken said was, embrace her, and maybe you don't have to ride on a bus to your next game.
Exactly. Again, they are missing, what is it, the forest for the trees?
Yeah.
And they're just they've got a tremendous opportunity. Even if you despise her, at least use her for your own financial gain and your own league's brand.
Okay, Nate, my God, exactly.
I mean,
even if you hate her, use her.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to take the bus.
Absolutely.
God almighty.
It's mind-boggling.
So the Babylon Bee, you're familiar with the
Oh,
Babylon
yeah.
Bee? They had a headline yesterday that said, no foul called after Caitlin Clark crushed by Anvil.
Well, Angel Reese, this didn't capture any headlines either, but she was ejected from the Sky's last game, I think 2 nights ago or something. So
Now, in her defense, because you know what we need? We need Quentin in here to talk about stuff like this because he's got a great perspective. He said that she should not have had 1 technical, yes, 2 technicals, and the ejection, no. And I don't want to make this a Angel Reese is a terrible person. I hate Angel Reese. I don't like her, but she's a player too. She's a good player. She's got a national championship behind her, which Caitlin Clark does not, by the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And just play. I don't want to say play nice because it is a rough game, but don't be dirty.
Just play the
Don't
game.
be dirty.
Play the game.
You want to defend her hard, even if she's going to the rim and you foul her hard, that's one thing. When you blatantly go and blow her over on a play that's not even involved with the game, that's dirty to me.
We know the difference. Everybody,
Yeah,
knows it.
everybody
Anybody's
does.
playing this
For
on this
sure.
level knows the difference.
And then I wondered, we talked to a guy named Bonchi who writes for Red State about this because he wrote a great article about it. And I wonder, maybe Nate, because this is back in your day because you're older than all of us. When Larry Bird broke into the NBA, was he treated any differently because he was not black? I don't know the answer to that
I don't
question.
either.
You know?
And again, historical, I guess, things like that should be brought up. But unfortunately, this kind of goes back to a worldly view, but like our race relations have somehow regressed in the last 10, 15 years. And I take it right back to Barack Obama without
I
question.
would definitely take it back to because there was a time where when I was playing in the 80s, even in a band, my drummer was black and I never thought anything of it. We never like, oh, you're the black guy. It never happened. And I felt like this is cool because we're all just coming together and then nobody's saying anything. And then suddenly Barack Obama comes up to the main stage and he says, oh, wait a minute, there is a difference, everybody. And then that's when it started.
Healthy societies don't look at every issue through a racial lens, but it's hard not to when, your mainstream media or lamestream media, that's all they talk about. I mean, they are like paid propagandists up there, and the rhetoric just gets so exhausting.
It's crazy how, Joy Reid, Sonny Hostin on The View, they all the people on the left are anti Caitlin Clark. And it doesn't have to be that way. She's a player like any other player is,
Yeah.
And by the way, Chris Arps, going back to Jack Johnson, that's going back to bare knuckle boxing. They didn't even wear gloves back then.
That's badass.
What? Right?
Yeah,
That's like when a hockey goalie, didn't wear a mask.
Right. Ed Jockman was the goalie for the Rangers when I was a kid. No mask, no nothing, no helmets on the guys. All right, Nate, assuming you're not going to read the new 9 to 11 guy. Great to see you.
It's great to see you. Yeah. Oh, you didn't want me to announce my new show on the... No, I'm just kidding. I was going to play a joke. Jeff Allen and I had coffee, and I was going to come in and announce, 9 to noon on NewstalkSTL, but I figured...
Wouldn't that have been funny, Vic?
Yeah, hysterical, Ken.
The Nate Lucas Show, premiering Monday.
Hey! Stop it now. Final question. How many states were there when you were born?
51.
Oh, my God. Really? Really? There's not even 51 yet. There's 50 states.
Puerto Rico.
Not a state.
Well, it should be.
I ask you that because when I was born, there were 48 states. 1958, I was born. 59 was when Alaska and Hawaii came. But you ask kids that, how many states were there when you were born? They have no idea.
We're not smart.
If you don't have to be smart, look at the flag since you've been a baby.
I can't count.
Oh, my God. Nate Lucas, so great to see your face.
Love
man.
you guys.
Can we do this more often?
Yes.
All right, let's do
great.
it.
All
I'll
right.
come be a guest on your 9 to 11.
Do it.
show.
Come on.
Shut your face. The one and only Nate Lucas. All right, we'll remember D-Day 80 years ago today on 101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL. Welcome home and whoosh, my people.
Stream the Vic Porcelli Show at NewstalkSTL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
We haven't been able to communicate it in a way that is Let me say it another way. Exponentially.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Looking to get a new carpet, hardwood, or tile installed quickly and efficiently in your home? Look no further than Michael's Flooring Outlet. Michael's Flooring Outlet is a family-owned and operated business with a 30-year history of offering a diverse array of high-quality options in flooring. My parents and in-laws used Michael's to rip up their old carpet and replace it. They are both happy with the product and installation from Michael's. You can shop at one of their 3 locations in Creve Coeur, Darting Prairie, or St. Peters, or you can check them out at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
What's the key to maximizing the value of your outdoor space? Satisfaction. In getting a fence or deck that exceeds expectations with the highest quality, American-made material. And working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. And adding safety and security for your family and pets to play, relax, and entertain. At STL Fenceworks, satisfaction is our core value. Doing it right the first time, standing above the competition. At STLFenceworks.com, your satisfaction is our passion.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Columbo and Katie.
Biden's executive action on the border has created lots of headlines, but accurate reporting on what it does and doesn't do has been tough to find. We'll explain Thursday. Plus, Rep. Justin Sparks at 2:20 and Dr. Tobler at 3:05.
Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL. Welcome to Porcelli's Deli.
Yes, very good. I'll have a Bloody Mary and a steak sandwich and a steak sandwich, please.
Over here.
But the Chinese food here is terrible.
With Vic Porcelli.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot.
Porcelli's Deli is moved to 1019 and 941 News Talk STL. Come on in. We're open. Have a seat. Vic will tell you a story.
What the hell is going on at this radio station? That's what I want to know. All right, so listen. There's things that you know, okay? I've talked about it all the time. I was let go from iHeartRadio in 2020, January of 2020. I figured, okay, fine. I'm involuntarily retired from radio. That's fine, right? And then Jeff Allen calls and says, hey, you want to do some conservative talk radio? I said, yes. And here I am, and like Michael Corleone, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. But into a venue that I'm not completely comfortable with, or at the time wasn't completely comfortable with.
Yeah.
So every time I see somebody walk in, I ask, are they the new 9 to 11 guy?
Well, no, yeah. I think half of that is a big joke, though. But when we do music radio and you come to a talk format, it's a big transition.
Yeah.
So.
And Ken and I were just talking the other day, because in our years in talk radio, in music radio, we were told to shut up and play the music. Right?
Yeah.
And now we are the music.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. All right. Down to business. June 6th, 1944, D-Day. The Allied forces invaded and stormed the beach of Normandy on Omaha Beach. And I'm pretty sure I have this right, that Omaha Beach was named Omaha Beach by us. It wasn't called Omaha Beach. We named it Omaha Beach because they had different sections of Normandy, Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Sword.
Yeah.
And so these brave young men, when I talk about anybody who serves this country, I always have to ask, how do you find the courage? How can you be so brave?
Right.
I could not have that kind of courage. I could not have that kind of bravery that people who serve this country have. Clearly, the guys who stormed the beach in Normandy, right? So their day started with an address from the general and leader of the Allied forces, by the way. Dwight Eisenhower was an Army general, of course, and this was 1944. He was first elected in 56. So this was 12 years before he was elected president. But he did an address to all of the Allied soldiers, not just the Americans. And this is what they heard that day.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
Let's beseech the blessings of the Almighty God. Words you just don't hear in the 21st century anymore.
In fact, if you do hear them, they're criticized.
Exactly. So that was Dwight Eisenhower talking to all of the Allied troops. The weather was not good that day. You've seen, have you seen Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah.
The first 20 minutes of that movie, I saw it with my wife and friends of ours in the movie theaters. I said, I will never, ever watch this movie ever again. Never. And I will never let my father watch this movie. It was just too much. It was just too real. It was so good. It was bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the D-Day invasion cost us about 2,500 American lives. And again, the bravery of these guys, because the Germans were kind of ready for us. It wasn't really a big surprise attack, and nobody knew they were coming. The Germans had troops right there on the beach, you know.
Oh, they had pillboxes everywhere.
They had what?
Pillboxes.
Thanks, Ken. I had no idea what they were called. Yeah. Pillboxes. And
which they were sitting in, by the way.
Yeah.
If you don't know, with their machine guns waiting for them to
sitting ducks, a lot of them, you know. But obviously, you know, it went well. So personally, my dad was in the 787th Tank Brigade in the U.S. Army. So again, going back to Saving Private Ryan, after those terrible first 20 minutes, there's a long shot of a battleship right on the beach, and then they made like planks for the tanks to roll down onto the beach. My father drove one of those tanks onto Omaha Beach, and he didn't like to talk about it too much, you know. I don't think any of those guys really like to talk about the things that they saw, but it had to be done because Hitler was bad, obviously. And keep in mind, this is 3 years after Pearl Harbor, so we're already 3 years into being at war, in quotes. And we had another theater to take care of, right? Pacific Theater was being taken care of. Iwo Jima, right? Those guys putting up that flag on Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
But now the European theater needed to be cleaned up, and wow, did we clean it up. So now keep in mind, this is 1944. Television was, I don't want to say not invented, not even prevalent. Okay, just bear with me, okay? I'm going to get back. In Back to the Future, when Marty has dinner with Lorraine and the family.
Yeah.
And one of the kids says, do you have a television? And Marty says, yeah, you know we have two. And the kid goes, wow, you must be rich. And the mom goes, he's kidding you. Nobody has 2 television sets, right? That's 1955.
Yeah.
So 1944, I don't know, 1 in 5,000 people had a television set. So the radio was where we got our news. And this is how NBC, who was a news organization at the time, Ken, how about that?
Yeah.
Reported it this way.
This is Robert St. John in the NBC newsroom in New York. Ladies and gentlemen, we may be approaching a fateful hour. All night long, bulletins have been pouring in from Berlin claiming that D-Day is here, claiming that the invasion of Western Europe has begun. Let me read you several of the latest bulletins. One says that a report, unconfirmed by Allied sources, of course, says that heavy fighting is taking place between the Germans and invasion forces on the Normandy Peninsula, about 31 miles southwest of Le Havre. Another bulletin, also from Berlin radio and unconfirmed, says the British-American landing operations against the western coast of Europe from the sea and from the air are stretching over the entire area between Cherbourg and Le Havre.
So it's interesting, too, to hear that guy do the news when he was ripping and reading, as we used to say, right? Rip and read.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the Associated Press, come on,
the ticker,
teletype ticker, right?
Yeah,
would just spit out news 24 hours a day, just spit out news. And when something like this happens, he had to read that right off the ripping and reading it, not read it through first. And you can tell when you hear him do it, you know?
Yeah.
And then it happened, right? And then we get more and more news about D-Day and our brave men storming the beach of Normandy on Omaha Beach. And then what about images, visual images of the war? The only way to get it was to go to the movie theater, right? If you're going to see Casablanca with Humphrey Bogart, first you see a Bugs Bunny cartoon, right?
Right.
And before Casablanca starts, they have a newsreel. And Ken, you know I love newsreels, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so here's that.
In the early dawn of D-Day, June 6, 1944, the largest battle armada in history heads across 80 miles of rough channel water from England to the northern coast of France. Barrage balloons and a massive concentration of air and surface guns protect the 4,000 warships, transports, barges, craft of every kind in the invasion convoy. Here is the major striking force of the greatest military undertaking the world has yet known. Here, after years of building, equipping, training, after months of minute, intense tactical planning, here is the decisive thrust at Hitler's Europe.
All right, so when I do the newsreel voice, I don't quite do it that way, you know? I like the, our brave men, D-Day, Normandy, Omaha Beach, 1944. That guy's a little bit more credible, though. So that's the way that we got images from the war. And I would just like to say, Ken, this was a world war. I mean, that sounds so finite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, if Germany took over, if Germany won, we'd be a lot different society today. The whole world would be.
I'm glad you brought that up. Why don't you watch The Man in the High Tower?
Yeah.
It's the premise of that is that we didn't win the war. And even in our own country, we were under German rule on the East Coast and Japanese rule on the West Coast. So we won that war, right? America won that war. On Victory in Europe Day, that sailor grabbed that nurse and gave her a kiss in Times Square.
Yeah.
That was the emotion and the absolute euphoria of winning the war. And then we started to embed reporters and things with the troops.
Biggest mistake that America ever made.
We haven't won a war since.
Nope.
Except, okay, we won the Iraq War because their strategy was to put their hands up and surrender.
Yeah, well.
But other than that, you know, and you know, I don't know. My father used to say to me, we don't need to know and see everything that we know and see. I mean, I get it. You know, you want to be that, you know, Edward R. Murrow reporter and everything. But we have to win. We have to win.
If you go to war, you need to unleash them completely. That was the biggest problem, is a politically driven war in Vietnam.
Yeah. And now our military is woke? Really?
Yeah.
What do we expect to win with that kind of attitude? So the real heroes, the greatest generation, the guys who stormed Normandy, on this day in 1944, including my father, by the way. I'd like to say thanks, Dad. Miss you, love you. And that's Porcelli's Deli on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Tuna on toast, coleslaw, cup of coffee.
Yeah. No, wait a minute. I always have tuna on toast. Nothing's ever worked out for me with tuna on toast. I want the complete opposite of tuna on toast. Chicken salad on rye, untoasted, with a side of potato salad and a cup of tea.
The Vic Porcelli Show on News Talk STL.
And a cup of tea. Okay. I got through that, Ken. Proud of myself. I got through that.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, buddy. Okay, so let's talk about you. Okay. When you leave this earth, you'll leave your money to one of 3 different groups. The government, we don't want to do that. The medical or care community, by not planning for health needs, right? That means you use all your money paying for long-term care. Or your kids or the charity of your choice. That's the only one that's a real choice. The other 2 are kind of mandated. So here's what you do. Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management, great friend of the show and a great friend of this radio station and just a great guy, is the one who will get you through the maze of taxes and things that the government put in there just to take your money from you, honestly. I mean, let's say what it is. And Chris has tax-efficient solutions and strategies that'll help you out. He also has some workshops, shall we say, coming up. And when you go to see him, it's not this boring, guys can talk about it's funny, it's fun, he's a great guy. It's hard to take your eyes off him when he's talking because he's so engaging. And he's got a new book he'd like you to have for free, okay? His latest book is called The New Holistic Retirement. And you can get it right now for free at serenitynowtax.com. That's serenitynowtax.com. Serenity Now with Chris Cooper.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
Serenity Now!
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Columbo and Katie, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL.
Are you even thinking about getting new windows? Tim Jones here to tell you need to call Window World. They're simply the best for less. 314-993-1800. One of only 2 window companies in the country that carry the coveted Good Housekeeping seal of approval. Carrying a lifetime warranty covering all parts, glass breakage, and labor. Incredibly durable, incredibly beautiful, incredibly thermally efficient. For the first time ever, Window World offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Any questions? Free in-home estimate, 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com, windowworld.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Speaking to Ashley Hayek, Executive Director of America First Works.
When you have the domestic abuse and drug and murder scandals and rape and, abusing animals, all of that happening within the NFL, it's really hard for them to have a leg to stand on to try and take down Harrison when he's speaking about pro-family, pro-faith values.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Columbo for Capriotti's Sandwich Shop. Capriotti's is famous for setting themselves apart due to their dedication to superior quality and ingredients like slow-roasted, hand-pulled whole turkey and American Wagyu straight from Snake River Farms. That dedication to superior quality is evident from the very first bite into a Capriotti sandwich. Visit Capriotti's Sandwich Shop 7 days a week at the corner of Manchester and McKnight in Rock Hill and get more info, including how to impress at your next event with their great catering at capriottis.com.
Hi, this is Ron Clutho. Join me for Groovy Grooves every Saturday to hear songs like this and memories that will take you back to a groovier place and time. Be sure to check out the playlist at newstalkstl.com for more Groovy Grooves.
And now for something completely different.
Groovy Grooves with Ron Clutho. Saturday nights at 10 on News Talk STL.
Fox News commentary.
The next time a liberal whines to you about gun safety, you remind them of 2 words: Hunter Biden. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Success. It's discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us that comes before all recognition. It's the best of each of us made better by the best in all of us. It's what Stifel's been doing for over 130 years. And it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management and investment banking firms in the industry. Stifel. It's where success meets success. Start your journey at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Hunter Biden is facing felony charges for allegedly lying on a federal form to obtain a firearm while being an admitted crack addict. Unlike Donald Trump's alleged crime of paying hush money to a porn star and marking it incorrectly on the books, Hunter's alleged crime is actually dangerous, which is why, for the life of me, I cannot figure out why the gun safety activists are not up in arms, no pun intended, over this. Specifically, California Governor Gavin Newsom, who runs a daily ad on social media imploring us to get on board his gun safety constitutional amendment. He wants to be the face of sensible gun safety, huh? Well, shoot, I can't think of anything more sensible than keeping firearms away from admitted crack addicts. Can you, Gavin? Any comment on Hunter, sir? You know, the double standard is the only standard of the left and certainly of Gavin Newsom. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Everything woke turns to shit, okay?
Now look here. I don't like that kind of talk. Now just stop it. It upsets me.
How dare you? Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
America, Joe Biden's campaign is lying to you once again, and they're gaslighting. Now they're trying to say that I said black people were doing better under Jim Crow. I never said that. They are lying. But why would you be surprised? Because they always lie. This is the same Joe Biden that said, if you don't vote for him, then you ain't black. The man is a liar. Sorry, just call it what it is. What I said is that you had more black families under Jim Crow. And it was the Democrat policies under HEW, under the welfare state, that did help to destroy the black family. That's what I said. And I also said you're seeing a reinvigoration of black families today in America. And that is a good thing. So don't listen to the lies from the Biden administration. I know what I said, and I'll say it straight to camera. They got to run to the Philadelphia Inquirer to move their lies. Joe Biden does not care about black people. He never has. He cares about power. First, second, and third. They can go somewhere with all that. See ya.
I mean, that's Byron Donalds. Obviously, I agree with everything he said. Nothing we haven't said already on this show about Biden, black people.
What I would like to attach to this is the way he did it and what everybody needs to start doing. They need to start pushing back on everything that the left is saying.
Yeah.
Instead of coalescing and doing what we used to do and say, oh, well, I guess I shouldn't say anything because I might be accused of being a racist.
Right.
Stop.
Yeah.
If it's a lie, call it a lie.
That's right.
And call it out.
That's right. And to say that Joe Biden cares about black people is a lie.
That's a lie.
A straight out lie. Byron Donalds, of course, representing Florida right now. And by the way, I learned something yesterday that we touched on, Ken, but never really dug into because I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. But if Marco, is that his name, Marco Rubio?
Yeah.
If Marco Rubio becomes Donald Trump's running mate for VP, one of them is going to have to move out of Florida. I don't know why. I don't know if Florida is the only one with a law like this, but they can't both live in Florida and be the president and vice president at the same time.
I'll have to look at it, but from what I understand, it's any state like that.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I think so.
I'm learning this piece by piece. So anyway, my point is Byron Donalds, who's name's been thrown around as a VP pick, also lives in Florida.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
if they pick him, he'll have to move too, because I'm sure Donald Trump's not moving out of Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, probably not.
All right, I just want to play this one thing for you, and then we'll hit the chat box, okay? So Senator Joni Ernst, there was a Senate GOP press conference on the border, and Joe Biden laid out his tough border plan that he's going to do. And by the way, if it's too tough, well, yeah, okay, We'll only let we'll only let 2.5 million people in instead of 1 million. So they did the press conference, and as she's walking away from the podium, and when I heard this the first time, I didn't realize it was what we call a hot mic moment, where she didn't realize that the mic was on or whatever. But as she's walking away, she turns to Senator Kennedy from Louisiana and says this.
Bottom line, never trust a man whose uncle was eaten by cannibals.
Bottom line,
it's hard to hear. But...
never trust a man whose uncle was eaten by cannibals.
Bottom line, never trust a man whose uncle was eaten by cannibals.
I think that's so funny. And, that wasn't meant to be out in the public, but it doesn't matter. I mean, she
did an interview after that and said, yeah, I'm glad it's out. I think it's funny. Yeah. But that's the pushback. They were calling her out saying, how could you say that about a sitting president?
Huh?
No, I'm not kidding.
It's okay what they always said about Trump, though.
No, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
All that's good.
I didn't
But
realize.
then she said, well, it was fun. It was funny. Yeah, get over it.
Never. One more time.
Bottom line, never trust a man whose uncle was eaten by cannibals.
I love the sincerity in her voice.
I know.
Like his uncle was really eaten by cannibals.
Right.
God. And how did that happen, by the way? Did they put him like in the pot of boiling water, like in the Bugs Bunny cartoons?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
with carrots if they're.
Or did they just slicing carrots into the cauldron, or did they spit roast them? And turn them around like the pig on the spit roast.
Yeah, I think that's her point in a different way. I think there was a from the outfield type of cut down of Joe Biden, because she said never trust a man who says that his uncle was eaten by cannibals.
I don't think that's what she said. Play it again. She's trying to be fake sincere. Listen, he says eaten by cannibals. Go ahead.
Never trust a man whose uncle was eaten by cannibals.
She doesn't say says he was eaten.
Oh, yeah.
She says never trust a man whose uncle was eaten by cannibals.
Yeah, that's true.
So she's being facetious. She's being a smart ass.
And it's funny.
And it's great. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, we need to do more of it.
Absolutely. All right, Kenny, can we check the chat box? Because they're on fire.
Yeah, let's do, what do we say, Facebook?
Yeah, let's do Facebook first. Here we go. You know what I love? This is why I love you guys, and I love doing this show for people who appreciate what we're doing. The freedom fighters phrase is getting used a lot by the people in the chat box.
I love it.
Because we can all be freedom lovers. I used to say every morning, good morning, freedom lovers. And now we say, good morning, freedom fighters. Happy Deli Day, freedom fighters, remembering those that fought and those that gave their lives to stop the spread of evil 80 years ago today. In case you just woke up or you're under a rock, today's D-Day. Tom says, good Thursday morning, freedom fighters. There it is again, Ken. Our favorite Navy chief. Good morning, gents and fellow Vic Heads. Have a great day, everyone. Today we honor those brave men that looked evil in the face and conquered it. We owe everything to these warriors. But I tell you what, I say it every time. How do you find the courage? How can you be so brave? Hey, Kristen says, Nate Lucas, how you doing? Nice. GMVH, that means good morning, Vic Heads. The Biden administration is a total joke. Vote Trump. Dave Stouffer, our buddy. I was born in 1973. There were 51 states. The 50 when Nate was born are the deep one at DC won't admit to. There's only 50 states, right? Did I miss a state somewhere?
No.
Okay.
They're saying deep state.
David said, no. But Nate said 51.
Right.
Because he said Puerto Rico.
Right.
I just want to know if I was completely asleep.
No.
Okay. No. Dave says, unbelievable show today. Thank you very much, guys. VP and Prez can be from the same state. Do me a favor. Leanne has a little link there.
Okay.
On the vice president and president being from the same state. Maybe we can get to the bottom of this. I don't know if we're going to get to it today, but print it up, Ken, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, and we'll give Leanne Grayson 100% credit for that. So 40-gram battery in first this morning with a pledge of allegiance to the flag, United States of America. And then Ed Stoid says, not fair, 400 grand. This isn't even on yet. So they're putting it up there before the show's even on. And please don't mock. Don't mock each other, okay? Ed says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. He also says, no fair election.
No peace.
No fair election.
No peace.
And of course, it's Thursday, so Ed said, "Hey, Karen, how you doing?" Operation Overlord, that's D-Day. Troops landed across 5 assault beaches. I think we mentioned this, right? Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Sword. By the end of the day, they established the all-important foothold in France. Cubis just put some American flags. Thank you so much, man. God bless those souls. May they rest in peace. D-Day and other tragic days. Never forget. Cubis said never forget to. I still cry when I watch The Longest Day. Hubby has to console me. Just learned Cubis is a woman.
Oh, yeah?
Cubist? You seen Cubist in the things?
Of course, yeah.
It says, I always cry when I watch The Longest Day. Hubby has to console me. Karen is right. They have it down pat, their narrative. And they... I don't know. Reading the comment section this morning gave me chills. So many of today's youth seem to have anxiety attacks and angst when they simply can't find their cell phone or don't have service. Think about being in one of those little boats approaching Omaha Beach.
It's a whole different set of people.
Phone battery goes dead. I wonder what our spoken language will be today if we've been forced to depend on those folks who... I really should read these first. I'm sorry, guys. I'd just like to point out that pooping is trending on Twitter. Why is that?
Well, yesterday somebody wrote poop, a cool word, and I said, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
But,
okay.
I don't know.
We use it all the time on the show. God bless America. God bless our heroic troops. In my opinion, when Broadway shut down during the CORVIDs, all the Broadway writers turned to creating advertising music to make money, like the Jardians, musical that's coming soon.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I'm sorry I can't get to everything. You guys are the best. Don, thank you so much. Ed, thank you so much. Hi, 101.1. Sorry.
Yeah.
101.9 and 94.1 NewstalkSTL. Hi, who's this?
Oh, this is Andre.
Hey, Andre. Thank you for serving, my man.
My pleasure. I just want to say thank you for the deli today. That was really good. I really appreciated that. And your dad was obviously a hero and someone to be looked up to. So that's just my quick comment.
I appreciate that, Andre. Like I said, he didn't like to talk about the war at all. My father was a very goofy guy, and we were out to dinner one time. It was me, my wife, and him. And he said, "What are you going to get?" To my wife. He goes, "Get the broccoli Normandy. I invaded it." Like he would be goofy about it.
That's funny.
Not really bringing out what he did, you know. All right, Andre, thank you so much, man. Thank you for serving. We appreciate it.
One quick question, if I have the time. What's going on with the deli that Bugs Bunny can never find the ketchup?
Well,
That's awesome. That is awesome.
What are you saying? We don't have ketchup readily available for our customers? Is that what you're saying, Andre? We'll figure it out.
Bugs can't find it. I mean,
that's awesome.
We'll dig deeper into that. Andre, love you. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, Andre.
I love when people comment about Bugs Bunny. All right, listen, thank you so much for having the record player on at night to listen to us this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
And thanks for being with us, really. The D-Day thing was not easy for me to get through, but I got through it, Ken.
Yeah, you did.
Bongino is next
buddy.
on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Tony Colombo here, along with Tim Jones for Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Rodney and Jen are the #1 home selling team in the area, and I could say that from personal experience. They sold our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible, which put us in a great position as we tried to find our perfect new home. And with help from the Wallners, that's exactly what we did. Christine and I couldn't be happier with our experience working with Rodney and Jen Wallner. And Tim, the numbers speak for themselves.
That's right, Tony. Everybody knows the Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. And if you're looking to sell your home, right now they have so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. They're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois. So no matter where you are in the St. Louis region, you can put the Wallners experience and work ethic to work for you. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call Rodney and Jen Wallner now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
Hi, it's Mike Ferguson here. Join me on Monday, June 17th at the Jefferson County Republican Club Conservative Showcase. I get to MC the thing. We're going to feature GOP candidates running for state representative and state senate seats in Jefferson County's districts. It's a great opportunity for you to meet the candidates and hear from them on how they're going to make Jefferson County and Missouri a better place. It all starts at 7 o'clock, and it will take place at the Hillsborough Community Civic Club. To learn more, go to jeffcogopclub.com. That's jeffcogopclub.com.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. In France, President Biden honors the brave soldiers who fought on D-Day and those who supported them at home.
Every soldier who stormed the beach, who dropped by parachute or landed by glider, every sailor who manned the thousands of ships and landing craft, every aviator who destroyed German-controlled airfields, bridges, and railroads, all were backed by other brave Americans.
He visited the American cemetery near the beaches of Normandy, where more than 9,000 U.S. soldiers are buried. A dwindling number of World War II veterans in a parade of wheelchairs joined a new generation of leaders who honor the dead, the living, in the fight for democracy. Also at townhall.com, testimony in the trial of President Biden's son focused on past relationships.
Kathleen Buell was married to President Biden's son for 20 years. She testified she discovered her husband was using drugs when she found a crack pipe in an ashtray on the porch of their home in 2015. When confronted, he admitted smoking crack. Buell says she never saw Hunter Biden use drugs. Prosecutors also called Zoe Keston. She met Biden in 2017. She told jurors when she saw him use drugs, buy drugs, talk about drugs, or possess drug paraphernalia. Keston acknowledged she had no contact with Hunter Biden during the period when he bought a gun in 2018. The trial is about whether he lied on a gun purchase form when he said he wasn't using drugs. I'm Ed Donahue.
The season's first heat wave already bagging the southwestern U.S. with triple-digit temperatures, the mercury reaching 108 in Phoenix and Las Vegas on Wednesday. On Wall Street, the Dow had 47 points, the NASDAQ 32 points in the red. More at townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
We'll round out the work week with some dry weather today and tomorrow before rain arrives on Saturday. So it's mostly sunny today, a weak cold front breezing through, knocking humidity down. Northwest winds will blow between 10 and 20 miles per hour. Evening plans look great. We'll drop through the 70s. The overnight low tonight, 61. Very little change on Friday, but yes, rain and storms move in Saturday morning. Could see another batch move through later Saturday as well. But Sunday looks dry. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
NewstalkSTL is proud to have Doug Voss as part of our lineup every week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on NewstalkSTL. And in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hit the links in style this season with NewstalkSTL's brand new golf polo and hat collection. Available exclusively at Sugar Creek Golf Course, located off Highway 30 in High Ridge. Our lightweight, moisture-wicking polos feature the NewstalkSTL logo, keeping you looking sharp and feeling comfortable all 18 holes. And don't forget the matching NewstalkSTL hats to keep the sun out of your eyes while you line up that winning putt. Get your NewstalkSTL gear today at Sugar Creek Golf Course off Highway 30 in High Ridge.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis's #1 for conservative talk.
NewstalkSTL.
News, analysis, opinion. NewstalkSTL.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
You know, can we just have that one moment? You know what I mean, folks? Can we have that one moment of national unity where someone worthy of the dignity of the sacrifice and of the sacrifice these patriots who shed blood, left their limbs and some of them their lives on sandy beaches in Omaha and Utah and elsewhere. Can we just have a moment where we put all this aside for a second? We're like, wow, he just kind of knocked it out of the park. I'm going to tell you something you may not want to hear. You know, I lost an uncle in Vietnam. I've spoken about it before. His name is Greg Ambrose. His story's pretty amazing. I encourage you to go to that Vietnam wall. There are many online sites and check it out sometime. He's one of many heroes, but he's mine. And Obama gave a speech once, and it kind of shocked me because I was, so used to Obama talking about and ripping America to shreds. He gave a speech once that really surprised me, where he had mentioned how Vietnam veterans were treated so terribly and when they came back, which they were, and how they deserve better. And folks, I think we can all agree. I'm obviously no fan of Obama. I mean, I walked away from a job I loved and almost went bankrupt to run against Obama in a deep blue state. I mean, you can't revile a politician more than I did, but I sat there and said, all right, I'm going to put that aside because, what he said there is correct. Whether he meant it or not, who knows? I mean, the guy was so disingenuous, but we've got this solemn day and the 80th anniversary of a day. You wonder if you were to go there today and stand there on Omaha Beach to just imagine the horror of what these young men went through. When I say young men, I mean, some of them lied about their age. These have been well-documented stories of 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds who were big kind of husky young men and went over there and said, "Gonna go save the world." And you think standing there today, gosh, the horror that must have been there that day. I mean, we people joke a lot, throw away, "Oh, I almost died." No, imagine being there and death is all around you. This Higgins boat's about to go to shore and the gate's about to drop, and you're looking ahead of you at these boats being sprayed with Nazi machine gun fire. And it's noon Eastern time, so I want to be careful with what I say on the radio, but you're looking at pieces of people being just filleted, people being mowed down. Then you hit the beach. By the way, if you manage to make it out of the water, remember a lot of these guys drowned under the weight of their equipment. If you make it on shore, there's just death everywhere. Now, I mean, everywhere. There's blood, there's body parts. And you combine that with, just imagine just for a second, just the noise alone. You think these guys had like OSHA ear protection in? I mean, just imagine the noise. And I'm not talking about just the noise of machine gun fire. I'm talking about the screams of people in obviously life-threatening amounts of pain and distress. You've got the sound of planes overhead. So today's one of those moments with the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion in Normandy. And what happens? Joe Biden goes over. That's not the worst speech he ever gave. But he doesn't even appear to know what he's doing or where he's at. And folks, I guarantee you there are conservatives out there who, again, who can't stand this guy, me being one of them. But for a moment, we're like, okay, can we at least put it aside for a second and make sure these guys get their due, these heroes who did this, just for a moment, like just do the right thing. And he can't even do that. He goes overseas. He looks confused on stage. They've got to point out the chair. How hard is it to figure out what chair to sit in? He almost always sits in the same chair. If you're looking at the podium, because we usually use an armored podium, he's almost always the seat, if you're looking straight at it, right to the right. It's not hard. Why would he be seated right to the right? Because he's almost always the guest of honor, and it's the closest one to the podium. You don't have to be a Secret Service advance agent to figure this out. Why does he keep getting confused where he's got to sit? You know they tell him this, right? So he appears lost walking in. You got the Biden shuffle. Gives a speech. It's not the worst speech he ever gave. But of course, he's got to make. Can you just focus on the patriots who shed blood and lost their lives that day and not bring up Ukraine? It's not a political speech, folks. There are wars going on all over the world. That's not what today is about. It was about that war, which was a unique, and I hate that word, but was a unique time in American history. World would have been many of you wouldn't even exist right now if those brave young men didn't do what they did. And then he's done with the speech. And what happens? He's sitting there. He's trying to squat in a seat. Nobody really knows what he's doing. You see Dr. Jill. What's she doing? Surgery or something? Dr. Jill. She's covering her mouth. And that little stunt we all do with our kids when you want to chastise them in public, but you cover your mouth because you don't want to look like you're yelling at them. You don't want people to read your lips. Like, Bobby, shut up. You see Dr. Jill doing that exact little stunt. Joe, it's not time to sit. Folks, watch the video. It's obviously an audio program, but you watch my podcast. I'll show you the video. Go online. You don't even have to watch podcasts. You'll see how is he confused when he has to sit? Jim, what do you think would be a good signal? It's time to sit if there are other people around you. What do you think would be a good signal? Thanks, brother. Yeah, when other people sit, that's not hard. Jim, you been to church lately? You always get a few newcomers in church, right? How do they know when to sit down and stand up? They just watch everyone else. This guy, how does this guy not know when to sit down? Watch the video. He looks like he's like hunting for the chair. Dr. Jill's like, you just get something right just for once. I have a sinking feeling. I do. On a day like today where you think of the honor, nobility, and dignity of these young men who, saved the world from an unimaginable alternative. I've just got this really sad and troubling pit in my stomach that the world's just a different place now. And folks, it's not just us. Was it Fukuyama who wrote that book, The End of History? After we economically conquered the Soviet Union, which we did, and it was an internal revolution, and you got Russia as it is now, which has gone back to most of its bad governing methods, ironically. But, everybody thought it was over. Everybody thought the war was over, the Cold War, that this republic, the capitalism and freedom had won out. And I don't know what happened. Maybe people got intellectually lazy, just thinking that, it's so obvious. This is the right path. Look at what's happened to the alternative. But why I have this sick pit in my stomach is, folks, I feel like we're right back to where we were. Every single hallmark of these totalitarian regimes that these brave young men fought for are all not just making a comeback. If we lose this next election, not only have they made a comeback, that concrete's going to be hardened. Think about every element of an authoritarian regime. Lawfare, discretionary, quote, justice, confiscatory taxation, i.e. theft of personal resources, government control of the economy, ideology over faith and freedom, the breaking down of any objective truth, boys are girls, girls are boys, men and a woman, nuclear family, all of it. It's all happening now. But here's the thing. Here's what I take a little bit of solace in. I think you do too. I go out to book signings and events and regular events. I'll go to a basketball game out at Auburn or whatever. And I run into so many good and decent people. Jim, you were at the book signing in Dallas, right? We did when something like 1,200 people showed up. And my gosh, the things they say to you about what they're doing to take the country back and the sacrifices they're making and their kids are making. I know there's something better out there. And we've been in worse places before. And if that generation can do that, the same genes and the same blood, you're their grandkids. Then, we can do it too. The bravery's there, man. We just need the right people to pull it out of us. We have an opportunity to do great things. Your grandfathers did it. My grandfather did it. He was at Utah Beach. He wasn't in Omaha. He was over at Utah. But I've told you the story often. Fought in the Battle of the Bulge, and he never talked about it, ever. A lot of these World War II veterans didn't talk about it much. But that bravery's there. Just needs to be pulled out of some of us. Some of us, it's already there. I told you, I've heard stories of people who've engaged in incredible heroism, and I sit there in awe listening to them. Like, my gosh, this is real. It's already there. I end this segment with just a thank you to the families and the few who are still remaining survivors of that D-Day invasion. 80 years. If you were there when you were 16 and managed to slip through because you're a hero and you wanted to fight, you're 96. God bless you, man. God bless you. And a big thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I know I speak for my crew too. All right, I got a lot to talk about coming up next, including, folks, they always accuse you of what they're doing. And this deep state is real. And we're going to put some names to it. Coming up. We'll be right back.
Bongino.
Today, we welcome our newest sponsor, the Dan Bongino Show, Byrna. Byrna is a game changer in self-defense. Look, when it comes to protecting your loved ones, it's not just about having a firearm, and lethal force isn't the answer for every situation. Imagine an imminent threat comes to you and your family. Instinct may drive you to reach for lethal means immediately. What if there were a way to effectively defend yourself and de-escalate a situation without the irreversible consequences of deadly force? Byrna's non-lethal pistol launcher equipped with tear gas and kinetic ammo can incapacitate an attacker for up to 40 minutes. No need to go DEFCON 1. We just need protection to confidently ensure we can defuse the situation and drive the threat away immediately. Byrna sent me their non-lethal pistol launcher. I love it. I carry it as a non-lethal option with me everywhere I go. It's made in America, legal in all 50 states, and requires no background checks, and it's shipped right to your door. Visit Byrna.com/Dan now for an exclusive 10% discount to my listeners today. That's BYRNA.com/Dan. That's Byrna.com/Dan. You won't regret it.
Dan Bongino.
When you've got something to say, be heard loud and clear.
If they'll just do what they were voted in to do.
This party needs to get a backbone. They need to get some spine.
Join the conversation. St. Louis's place to talk.
The Democrats and the Republicans can give us all the lip service they want, but what they need to do is take action today.
101.9 and 94.1.
You have to take a stand sometimes.
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis, you're invited to a free live event with Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft as he unfolds his bold red print plan to hire 1,000 law enforcement personnel to restore order in St. Louis when elected as Missouri's next governor. Don't miss this opportunity on Thursday, June 6th at 7 p.m. at 3710 Hampton Avenue to ask questions from the man on the brink of making history. Get details at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC, Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Dr. Carol Swain.
I had heard of Claudine Gay. During my final years at Princeton, I heard all about this brilliant Black student at Harvard. But I did not know that the brilliant Black student at Harvard was using my work for her dissertation. I have a year that I can pursue legal remedies.
Good.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Dr. Randy Tobler, along with daughter Sammy Tobler-Gregory, a team member here at our family-owned Body of Health Direct Primary Care Practice. Sammy, what are patients telling you about their experience at Body of Health?
I can't tell you how many patients I've had come to me and tell me they just so appreciate getting to sit across the table with their doctor and chat about whatever's going on with their healthcare needs for however long they need.
Want to learn more about healthcare the way it ought to be? Schedule a discovery call at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
If you haven't been to Lit Cigar Lounge in the district at Chesterfield, you're missing a great experience. Premium cigars, drinks, spacious seating, TVs in every direction. This and more explain why Lit was voted Best Cigar Lounge 2 years in a row. Now you can be at Lit and order Napoli Brothers pizza and pasta delivered to you. In fact, Napoli's just a few doors down. A coal-fired oven giving a unique taste. Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta, now open in the Chesterfield district.
Always be clear where you get your conservative talk.
The St. Louis Business Journal is now reporting that liberal billionaire George Soros is the largest shareholder of Odyssey,
the parent company of KMOX and 97.1 Talk. Soros' maneuver raises critical questions about the future of media ownership and influence.
Money and attention is power. And when he has the money and he controls what's on the radio stations, he's going to be able to control the minds, essentially hundreds of millions of Americans.
St. Louis's trusted source and number one
for conservative talk.
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
There are three things we really care about: God, family, and country. The Dan Bongino Show.
Folks, they always accuse you of what they're doing, the left. When they need a simple distraction mechanism for the useful idiocracy, they do this very, very simple thing. They think they committed a murder. They'll just say, oh, yeah, you know what? I think Jim murdered somebody. None of this is particularly mind-bending. It's a simple distraction technique because they don't want the media talking about what they did. They are absolutely terrified. This Hunter Biden case and the backfire of the New York City trial against Donald Trump in the polls and the fundraising has them absolutely terrified. They are so completely off message now. And the Hunter Biden case has completely exposed the real danger from lawfare, which is them. We're going to name deep state actors. We're going to name them because I want an investigation into a conspiracy to steal an election on all of them. Folks, you know I'm a life hack guy. I'm sharing one of my favorites from my friends at Beam. Sleep is important for your physical and mental health. That's why Beam sent me their science-backed Dream Powder. One scoop of Dream helps me fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling refreshed and energized. It's a game changer for me and keeping up with my schedule. I don't struggle with restless nights anymore. It's as easy as scoop it, mix, sip, and knock out. The Dream Powder is packed with a powerful all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin with none of the grogginess that most sleep aids can cause. If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, the brownie batter, I've got an exclusive offer for Dan Bongino Show listeners. Just head to shopbeam.com/Dan. You'll get up to 40% off with offer code Dan. That's shopbeam.com/Dan. Use code Dan for up to 45% off for a limited time exclusively for Bongino Show listeners. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the FDA. They're not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Dan Bongino.
So this is what I'm talking about. If you missed it, there's an article on NBC News that's been picked up by all the parrots in the left-wing communist media. And the gist of the article is this: if Trump wins, he could weaponize U.S. spy services against his domestic political enemies. If you're reading this headline going, you have got to be kidding me, brother, after you spied on Donald Trump, have conspired to destroy his political campaign by fabricating out of thin air 3 ridiculous, unprecedented legal cases against him. One, you managed to secure a conviction for a crime no one can yet describe up in New York. And your concern is Trump weaponizing the spy services. Then, folks, you are obviously either a useful idiot or an active participant in the socialist effort to weaponize the mechanics of our government to take out constitutional patriots everywhere. Yeah, there's no alternative. This is just a simple distraction mechanism. Trying to take them out using the legal system one by one by one. Jail time, lawsuits, civil lawsuits, fabricated defamation claims. This is all part of their illegal lawfare, using the mechanics of the legal system to come after us. It's a distraction technique. NBC and the media, they know they're in trouble. They know they stole the 2020 election by a number of different methods. The one we're going to focus on today is the narrative manipulation. During 2020, the media told you a story, not the story. And a story they told you was that this Hunter Biden laptop, which was the keys to the kingdom about all of the Biden family corruption. A story they told you was that this was a possible Russian plot to insert disinformation into our the political veins of the political media's veins. None of that was true, folks. The FBI has now authenticated the laptop in court and said the laptop was never manipulated. But here's the key to the story. The FBI's in on the scam. We're going to name these deep state actors. How do we know that? Because the FBI had this information just days after they seized the laptop. They knew it the entire time. And yet the media, John Brennan, Andy McCabe, Jim Comey, Leslie Stahl, sir, all of these people conspired to keep this story away from you so you could not vote with accurate information. I'm demanding, and you should too. If Donald Trump wins, I want investigations into all of these people for a conspiracy to interfere in and steal the 2020 election. It's now clear as day that they were all deeply involved. Oh, folks, we've got a litany of receipts. There are social media companies involved in this. You think the Fauci story was bad? This story of this laptop is ugly. More coming up next. Henry Repeating Arms manufactures a line of high-quality rifles, shotguns, and revolvers you can be proud to own. You talk about people who love America. True patriots dedicated to this country, so much so their products are made in America with parts and materials from America. They use old-world craftsmanship combined with cutting-edge technology to deliver reliability and accuracy you can trust in any situation. They're easy to use and maintain, making them an excellent choice for both novice and experienced shooters. Whether you're a hunter, sports shooter, or looking for land or home defense, Henry has over 200 models so you can find the firearm that's right for you. There's also new releases throughout the year. Every purchase is backed by a lifetime warranty, and the company's owner, Anthony Imperato, also gives his personal guarantee for 100% satisfaction. Make sure you go to their website, it's henryusa.com, and order their free catalog. They'll mail it with free decals and a list of dealers in your area. That's henryusa.com for a free catalog and decals. That's henryusa.com for a free catalog and decals. You're going to love these firearms like I do.
Dan Bongino.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. President Biden has participated in ceremonies in France marking the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion that helped end World War II in Europe. He visited the American cemetery near the beaches of Normandy, where more than 9,000 U.S. soldiers are buried. Biden was born 2.5 years before D-Day. The season's first heat wave is already baking the southwestern U.S. with triple-digit temperatures as Phoenix firefighters employ new tactics in hope of saving more lives. Starting this season, the Phoenix Fire Department is immersing heat stroke victims in ice on the way to area hospitals. The mercury reaching 108 degrees in Phoenix and Las Vegas on Wednesday. The Dow had 16 points, but the NASDAQ is losing 37. This is SRN News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with